A$AP Rocky was found not guilty of all charges in his assault case on Extras Tuesday afternoon. Billy Bush met with Rocky's lawyer, Joe Tacopina, following their court triumph. Tacopina discussed the rapper's emotional reaction to hearing the first not guilty verdict read. He stated, "I knew there were 2 counts, and I have seen odd things happen in jury verdicts where they could split the verdict, so after the first not guilty verdict, I'm focused on the clerk to hear the second count, and I look to my right, he's gone, and I didn't know. I didn't realize he had left, he was just gone. I was like, did he leave? I asked my partner, I saw him on top of Rihanna. I couldn't process. Soon enough, cameras caught Rocky quickly leaping into Rihanna's arms, but Joe tried to keep his cool. Rocky was charged with 2 felony charges of assault with a semi-automatic firearm in connection with an incident in which he allegedly pulled a gun and fired at former childhood buddy Terell Ephron, also known as A AP Relli. I still said to my partner, get him back, here's another count. So I'm thinking, my God, if the second count doesn't go well, this will be embarrassing." Tacopina confessed that was just an emotional explosion. Tacopina will be remembered fondly by the pair. He remarked, "Rihanna and Rocky said to me in the courtroom yesterday, they grabbed me and they said, listen, our next baby is A$AP. Joe, Rihanna, and Rocky are the parents of 2 sons, RZA and Riot." As asked what A$AP said to him as they hugged, Joe replied, "He said some very wonderful things. I mean, he said he loved me, and we are family," he explained, "but it's not just the hug that comes after the good news." He told me this before the verdict was announced. He didn't know if he was going to go home and see his 2 babies that night or start a decade-long jail sentence. Literally that day, and he looked at me, held me, and said, "Joe, I want you to know I know how hard you fought here. I am aware of what you have done, and I sincerely appreciate you. I appreciate what you've done for me. We're in this together no matter what. And I love you." Praising Rocky, Joe remarked, "It was special that he did that, and but it's who he is. That's why I became emotional at the conclusion of the 5.5 hours I spent addressing directly before a jury at the end. It all came to a head when I started talking about him and how important he is to me, how nice of a guy he is, Rihanna and their family, and how much I valued their trust in me." Tacopina has spent a significant amount of time with Rocky and his family in recent years. He said, "When Rihanna performed at the Super Bowl, I was there. I ended up accidentally babysitting for the first child." Rihanna headlined the Super Bowl halftime show in 2023, where she revealed her second pregnancy. Riri and Rocky were getting ready for the big day. He continued, "All of a sudden, Rocky asked, 'Can you just take care of a baby? I'm getting a pedicure, but I don't know what it is. I will be done in about an hour and a half. I babysat for an hour and a half." There was a distinct type of relationship with him compared to most clientele. Tacopina also explained that Rihanna's decision to bring children RZA and Riot to court was not intended to sway the jury. "Look, he has a family. It was no secret to this jury." Joe explained, "Rihanna was there almost every day, but it is beneficial for them to see it." Billy said, "This is the family. He's going to be away from." Joe responded, "I don't believe it was beneficial for them to witness it. The real reason was this. That day was summations, and the judge had informed us in theory that he would begin jury deliberations immediately after summations. If they returned with a swift verdict like they did, and it did not go his way, he would never see his children again." He went on, "So she wanted them in court, in the courthouse, while the littlest one remained outside. But, RZA was inside since he's a little older, and he carried himself quite nicely, looking like a sweet little gentleman." Tacopina added that it is his family. He has every right to keep them there. The judge actually admonished the prosecutor for include that in his summary, saying, "I don't want you to mention Rihanna or those kids again in the summary," and I don't think that worked because they were more concerned about Rihanna and the children than with the facts. "We focused solely on the facts in that summary. I spoke with that jury for 5.5 hours, discussing the evidence's deficiencies, the facts, and the reasonable doubts in this case. Obviously, they agreed after 3+ hours of deliberation during a month-long trial regarding the lawsuit complaint launched by A AP Relli against A$AP Rocky for defamation." Joe stated, "I believe that is on life support, to say the least." A$AP Rocky was found not guilty on all charges of assault by a jury on Tuesday afternoon. It is unclear if his attorneys will continue with the case. Based on the evidence presented, Rocky was charged with 2 felony charges of assault with a semi-automatic firearm in connection with an incident in which he allegedly pulled a gun and fired at former childhood buddy Terell Ephron, also known as A$AP Relli. Jurors deliberated for 3 hours before giving a unanimous ruling. The panel consisted of 7 women and 5 men. Rocky arrived at the courthouse with a swarm of photographers around him. Despite some photographers trying to talk to him, he kept his gaze straight ahead. Rocky's mother, Renee Black, and sister, Erica B. Mayers, were seated in the first row of the galley. Rihanna, Rocky's girlfriend, slipped through the back and witnessed the verdict. Rocky flew into Rihanna's arms as soon as he heard the verdict of not guilty. He also thanked the jurors when they were dismissed, saying, "Thank you for saving my life. Thank you all for making the correct decision outside of court." ASAP told reporters, "First and foremost, I got to thank God, and I sincerely want to thank the jury for making the correct judgment. I'm just very grateful. This is ridiculous right now. This entire situation has been hectic for the past 4 years, but I'm thankful, nevertheless. Blessed to be here right now. To be a free guy speaking to you. Thank you all. Praise to God." Rihanna responded to the ruling on her Instagram stories, writing, "The glory belongs to God, and God alone, thankful and humbled by his mercy." She stood by AAP's side as his attorney, Joe Tacopina, addressed the media following the acquittal. "We said from the beginning he was innocent." Tacopina said, "We turned down a plea for nearly no jail time because he was innocent, and I've always believed this was an extortion. The extortion took place live, in color. In court," he went on, "what it says is that the district attorney should look long and hard at prosecuting Terell Ephron. We've said that from the beginning." Tacopina said he was honored to have represented this amazing family. He stated, Rocky is one of my closest pals, but he is also a wonderful person. Rihanna, they are honestly the finest people, and I said I love them, and I truly do, and I got tearful in my summary because I care so much about them," Rocky said with a smile. ASAP Joe later that night, Rihanna and Rocky celebrated their victory at Beverly Hills elite club Gravitas. Inside, we learned that they celebrated with friends, wine, and champagne. Rihanna was in court to support her partner on several occasions during the trial, including on Friday to hear the prosecution's rebuttal. Her name was mentioned multiple times before the